and going, there is no question of I am just trying or hoping to do it. Do it, just do it. This is the point. It's actually a wonderful inspiration for going on Sankirtan, because the mind puts so many obstacles, and I cannot because of this and that. Can feel Prabhupada stick in your chest. Just do it. And as soon as you get into that action, you just do it, well, you realize it wasn't so bad. It's just here. The problem is in the head. There are many people who actually all people, even in the material field, who did something, you could call it amazing. They just did it. That's all. Sometimes it's called genius. He just did it. Actually, it's called. Sometimes genius and crazy is very similar. Crazy people also have no problem to just do it. But that's crazy because they don't know the consequences. In Krishna consciousness it can be boldly applied, that principle, because we have that knowledge. We have that theoretical knowledge. Now it's just a question of just to do it. So this was actually, this offering caught my attention because it's nicely bringing the point that we have just to do it. There is no question or comments, otherwise we can read something more detailed how to do it. Yeah?
For the suffering, it was mentioned that both he is praying, or both he is saying that he is acknowledging that Prabhupada wanted the voice just to do it or like this, but at the same time he is praying for the mercy,
yes,
so that he can do it.
That strength.
So it can seem a little.
God helps those, they help themselves. That's also one thing Prabhupada quoted. So God helps those, they help themselves means actually that that you have to try. Help yourself. And by that sincere prayer, while you are trying, just praying in itself, you can try, but if you don't try, then how will Krishna recognize you are sincere? Is to do it. Praying. Prabhupada, if you see in Prabhupada's life, Prabhupada was challenged the whole life to just do it. He got instruction when he was a young man from his spiritual master to go there and preach to the English-speaking people. It took him practically 40-50 years before he really did it. But Prabhupada said, there was not one day in my life, not 1 minute, I forgot this instruction. I was constantly praying, when can I go, when can I go? So it takes also patience. But the readiness is to be there. Sometimes devotees just do it prematurely. They push themselves into realms they absolutely cannot handle. And then they get completely confused. I just did it, and I have I cannot sustain this platform. Well, because there is no mercy. The amazing thing when Prabhupada said, just do it, he gave you the power to do it. Devotees end up doing things they could never imagine. Even today, my brothers looking back into the years of active preaching, they think, how did I do that? How could we do that? I mean, just imagine that incident mentioned here. Just imagine you go around Denmark and preach like this, putting sticks into people's chest and going, just do it. Push them against the wall. Prabhupada could really do that. He did much worse things. I can tell you stories of devotees joined, Prabhupada said, just cut off his hair. He was a guest. So I said, cut off his hair. This is, the devotee who constructed both temples in Bombay and in Mumbai and in Vrindavan. From Holland. Surabi. He was just a, architect. who was interested in Krishna consciousness, met devotees in Amsterdam on the street. And then because he had some money, of course, then he went to India to check out the land of the holy man. And the first one he met in Mumbai was devotees again. And he said, yes, Hare Krishna, I'm from Amsterdam. You know, I know Hare Krishna movement in Amsterdam. They said, really? And that's great. You know Prabhupada? He said, yeah, I heard about Swami Prabhupada. You know what? He is here. You have to see him. And devotees were very enthusiastic. Those, you cannot imagine. They just almost grabbed the man on the street and dragged him to the temple. And he was going like, oh yeah, okay, oh well, okay. He had no plan, you know, to change anything in his life. And then they introduced him to Prabhupada like a sacrificial lamb. You know, Prabhupada, this is a Bhakta from Amsterdam. He knows Hare Krishna. I don't know if he even chanted 16 hours. And Prabhupada said, that's very nice from Amsterdam, so what are you doing? And he said, I'm an architect. Prabhupada opened his eyes, he said, this is very nice. You know, we are going to build a big temple here in Mumbai. So we need an architect. And then he told devotees, just shave his hair. And they go, Prabhupada, good job! And they grabbed the poor man and they just cut off his hair.
Tomorrow is initiation.
And next day he was initiated. And soon after he got sannyasi. Unbelievable. Nowadays I can't even imagine to do such a thing. We are preaching, and Bhakta, Cuckoo is coming and he's staying around and he's saying, yes, but I'm sometimes still, I like dope, I like hashish. It's Denmark, I like hashish. And then you preach, look, you will go to hell and it's not nice. And he goes, well, I know hell, I'm already in hell. So nothing special to go to hell. Why are you scaring me like this? And then you have to explain from this side and that side, and he goes through 20,000 seminars about who knows what, and 15,000 lectures, and finally he decides to try it for 1 week. This is our preaching. But when Prabhupada said you can do that, just do it, he gave you power to do that. This is called empowered. He said you can do that. If you take my instruction seriously, you can do that. But of course you had to take it seriously. And devotees were sent to the most crazy part of the world, preaching in Africa amongst aborigines and going to very dangerous places, dangerous situations. Because they said, when Prabhupada said it, that it's okay, it must be completely okay. And it was okay. This is beyond our conception, beyond our... Nowadays sometimes we are wondering, how did he do it? How did it happen? But still the power is there. It can be available to anybody. As Prabhupada comments, people may argue that, Arjuna had it simple. He had Krishna sitting in front of him on a chariot, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He heard Bhagavad Gita directly from him. What about me? Prabhupada said, there is no difference. If you take sincerely Bhagavad Gita and hear sincerely, you will be in the same position. Krishna can empower you. So, yeah?
What does it mean to just do it in context that in the offering he mentioned that he's praying for the mercy, so he will be able to do it? Or
yeah.
So why didn't he do it?
Well, that's included. That's included. You try to preach, you try to do things, and then you pray.
So it's like...
It's obviously in his offering that he's not just sitting at home the whole day and praying to be able to do it.
No, but it's like everyday thing. It is like we constantly try just to do it. It's not like a one time.
No, it's constant. It's constant. Devotee means life in prayer. We are praying all the time. Because material nature is constantly embarrassing us. Constantly putting us in difficult situations. Very difficult situations. So you're constantly praying, how can I overcome this obstacle? How can I overcome that obstacle? Why is this coming in my life? So for devotees are not spared anything. Sometimes people think Krishna consciousness is like an escape door. You just go whoop, and you are out. No. There is nothing what devotee, if you study the life of the great devotees, what they were spared. They got even more trouble as general people on the street do. You study Prabhupada's life, what a life of difficulties. Materially spoken, trouble. Trouble. His family fell apart and his business finally crashed and he tried hard. He was not irresponsible. He tried to be responsible in India. It's an important thing. Married, you have responsibilities. But how do you connect it to the instruction of the spiritual master he got? And his whole life was struggle. And business, there's no easy business. Business means always trouble. There's somebody who's competition, there's somebody who tries to finish you off, there's money to be guarded, there's money to be made, there's money to be protected, there's so many problems all the time, especially in this society which is powered by a mode of passion. Nobody knows how life will be tomorrow. It's a constant struggle. So finally things evolved in such a way that Prabhupada had only one way to go. Krishna showed him, you just go and preach. But you find very few recorded prayers of Prabhupada being directed to himself. Prabhupada is always praying for the others. And the more you pray for the others, the more your problems will be solved. Usually people are completely egocentric living their selfish lives, praying for their better health, better digestion, better money, better everything, all the time. But when you think about the others, then sometimes it improves quite mysteriously. And this is the life Prabhupada gave us. Life in service to his mission. That doesn't mean you should be negligent, of course. I can read you Prabhupada. That is how Prabhupada was concerned about the individual health of devotees and about their personal well-being. It's incredible. Because that was included in the service. Yeah.
I was just wondering, because how to say, life as a devotee, that's a constant prayer, and we have to try to meditate on Krishna in a loving way while we are engaging in activities. I was just thinking that when you do this practically on the street, if you it can become very artificial if you try to think Krishna while you are talking to people, so either one often becomes artificial. So.
That's in the beginning especially, maybe, but there will be also artificial result. Artificial doesn't work in Krishna consciousness. That's the difference between jnana and vijnana. Knowledge and, realized knowledge. Realized knowledge means no more artificiality. It's real. And theoretical knowledge is artificial. You learn it, you speak, learn it, but when the challenge comes, you don't act, learn it really. You don't know how to translate this into your, into practical action. What's amazing about Prabhupada, never saw him confused. Never. Struggling? Yeah. Prabhupada was badly struggling sometimes. But never confused. Not like, oh, shall we do this? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, God, how about this? Ooh. Yeah, I never saw such a thing. Never. 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 Never Then things became really bad. Prabhupada became very grave, very silent. Like example, in Germany, we got in one night all the money confiscated. All devotees were practically taken to police stations, some of them remained in jail. In one day, the whole movement. There was a big report written to Prabhupada. Oh no, they took all the money and we are finished now and there will be a big court case. And Prabhupada wrote back, just pray to Lord Nishingadeva, it will be okay. And there was a sincere prayer and it was okay, ultimately. So, just do it, how to do it. You want some? I don't have that much material. I know there's so much to get from Prabhupada's letters, but I'm trying to collect every day something. So, I don't know what the issues you want to, how to do it. Eh?
Nice how to do it.
Yeah, but
You mentioned something with in the beginning, then one should focus on the service, and later as one mature, one automatically thinks about the person.
there is some concept of Krishna, of course, otherwise what are you doing here? But it happens, the typical question of a new devotee is, shall I think now, sit down, think about Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, or shall I do something? It's the same example. A boy in love, will he ever come in such a situation? Shall I sit down now and think about my girlfriend, or shall I do something for her? It's quite a bizarre question actually. It means there is no connection really much. When there's a connection, you automatically do things.
But for instance, if you have like a certain service, especially cleaning, then you can try to do it as good as you can,
Yeah.
but not maybe not or like you do it as good as you can because you know that this is the best that you can offer. So is that
Yeah, but it's natural that when you have a particular service, like example, you will seek quotes from Prabhupada concerning that service. That's a kind of more inspiration. Like washing pots. Prabhupada said, you have to wash the pot so clean that you can see a reflection of your face in it. I don't know if such a quality of pot even exists. I think this is for sure not, must be stainless steel.
Do we have one of these like polishing machines? Like goes around, because I've been thinking about making the Chinese.
That would be a little bit overdone.
I've reached the limits.
But just by remembering, yeah. So you reach the limits, that's good, that's okay. But just by remembering that, you think always, oh, this could be actually more far than I don't see my face, or something like that. Just by remembering Prabhupada. Therefore, it's so important to hear from him, and about him. So you can, the mind simply becomes filled up with memories. When you do this, it's a practice. When you do this every day, what did Prabhupada say about this? What did Prabhupada say about that? And, then naturally your mind will be filled up with memories, what did Prabhupada say, to such a degree that you cannot walk on the street more than a few minutes and you will not remember something what Prabhupada said. I mean, I can take you on a walk in Bangalore, just going down the street here, and give you maybe, before we reach the Rema on the corner, I can give you maybe 20 quotes on Prabhupada. It's not something I studied. I was just around. Just listen. Read and listen, like that. It's okay. It's the compost action. Just stay around and listen. And naturally the mind will be just filled. It's already happening now. You are already coming even with quotes from the scriptures, which I don't remember at that particular moment. You remember me. And that's why it's so important to be with devotees, because they keep on remembering each other all the time. The different shlokas and different quotes and all the time. That's actually what the whole thing should be, all the time there in the background. Even we do joke, yes, and we are human beings. But all this, what we are talking and relating, should be always somewhere in the background connected to Prabhupada and to the Shastra, Shastra Sadhu Guru. It's like I give an example. There's so much from Prabhupada. Prabhupada entering in India a train, first class compartment, which doesn't mean anything. It's just there's goats and pigs missing. But first class train compartment, and they reserved compartment for Prabhupada. Prabhupada entered the train with his servants and came in the compartment, and they had on a window this classical rollo, what you have for windows. You pull it down, it goes click, and you push a little bit, it goes up, okay? You know that mechanism. It's not this, what we have with the sinks, with the string. It's a mechanism inside, in that roll. It's a spring. You put it down, and it stays. And you push a little bit, it goes up. As a child, I was very fond of this mechanism. I played long enough so it breaks, I was always, and the roller came up, I was going flip, 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 flip. I was just again, and then flip, flip, flip. I've had very intense memories on rollers. Our apartment was with rollers. They were also pulled down when the sunshine came in the hot summer. In the city it can get very hot. So these rollers were pulled down in our apartment, and they were actually so old, the sun was burning them. And because, there was also cold in the winter, there was moisture in the window, so actually the moisture, the rollers were sometimes moist, and when the sun came, they dried out and it created like maps, created design on the rollers. So I saw that, when I was small boy, I saw this like maps of continents, I have such an imagination. And this mechanism going up, Prabhupada was on that roller and he pulled it down and he was going up. And he pulled it down again. He was going up and again pulled it down. Up. And the devotees were standing there like, Prabhupada, is something wrong with it? Shall we fix it? It's broken or what? Prabhupada said, no. It functions perfectly well. But it's interesting how Krishna gave the brain to the scientists to develop this mechanism. And so Prabhupada was not fascinated by the roller or the relay. He was fascinated by the intelligence which human being gets to develop such a mechanism. Because it takes some intelligence to develop something like this. So Prabhupada had a completely, much more deeper vision, where things come from. And never forgot it. Never saw anything being disconnected from Krishna. We see just a roll, curtain, that's it. So what? What's a special roll there? No, Prabhupada saw the intelligence behind. When you start to see things like this around, the world gets very interesting. Anything is found. Because you realize you don't understand one thing. I don't understand even the apple on a tree. Why is he sitting there? Just like that. I mean, it's far out. On a certain point, it just falls down. And the leaves, they come out. And then they fall off. And then they come out again. From a branch. Do you see in the winter some leaves hiding in the branch? They grow together. And they hide and wait for the springtime to come out. No, they are gone. They fell off. But next springtime, from a completely bold twig, comes, there's a green tree. It's actually amazing. So, how is this? Who arranged for that? When you see things connected like to Krishna, like this, suddenly it becomes very interesting. Prabhupada could sometimes chant, it's a famous moment, he could chant and he liked yellow roses. So, and he could just, while he was chanting, he was rolling the rose back and forth. And then just watching the rose. And he would say again, like, why so much attention to a rose? It's a nice flower, but Prabhupada said, can any artist reproduce this? No, we have nice painting of roses, but they don't smell. And they are not three-dimensional. And they don't have that volume on that rose. He said, it got even a smell. It got color, it got volume, it got smell. Why it got thorns? We don't know. It actually doesn't fit the flower. The flower is so nice, so gentle, and this thorny, can pricks, you can hurt your finger. But Krishna wanted to have it this way. He arranged. That's really art. You cannot paint it. Like there are people who try to paint skies. You cannot paint the sky because there's a volume in it. So we are just reproducing things. We are like, only on a very surface we can imitate things. But we cannot do it like Krishna has done it. So this is really art. So being close to Prabhupada, seeing it through his eyes, the world is becoming very different. He had such a humorous short remarks about people and, about their consciousness. He passed by a golf course with old men playing golf and started crying. This is the end of their lives. They will die soon. And as Krishna says, wherever you direct your mind, that's where you will go. So when you die playing that golf, and it happens regularly in a golf course, somebody falls over and dies. What do you think what you become? Maybe these guys who make these hills with earth, moles, Who knows what you will become? It's so dangerous, so tragic. The whole human life form wasted for unlimited time before he comes back again to the human form of life. Just like something so stupid. Pushing balls around. So disgraceful actually for an old man. Prabhupada said one should grow old like a gentleman. So we should cultivate that kind of vision, by hearing all the time, whatever we can get hold of. What Prabhupada did. Because Prabhupada walked amongst us. He walked in all these different situations. Yeah. And we could give him some yeah, just have a cooler. Because Prabhupada, we have this very unique opportunity that we have Prabhupada remaining in such a recorded form. We don't know really how Madhvacharya moved, Ramanujacharya moved. We know there's some records, something, but it's a long time ago. But Prabhupada is actually quite recently. And it's all recorded, much recorded from his. And automatically when you study his personality, you have no other chance, no other choices to become one of Krishna conscious. So we have some glimpses still from Prabhupada's letters about different, just something to think about.